everyone, and welcome back to Code with Lisa channel and to our Java tutorial series. In this lesson we will explore string and start understanding reference types. So let's get started. In Java, a string is a sequence of characters, so you can imagine a string like this photo. And unlike primitive data types such as int, float, etc., strings are reference types. What it means we will see later. And you have two options in order to declare strings. First, you can create strings in Java using string literals. And in order to make it, you have to write a keyword string, then you have to write a name and a value. And the second option is using new keyword, this one. Here we have created an object of the string class. We will delve deeper into objects when we explore OOP. String is a reference type in Java, which means we can create it using the new keyword. Initially, the shorthand notation was introduced to avoid constantly specifying new and the class name. Since strings are frequently used, developers simplify the syntax a bit, and we can use this option, of course. And now let's move on to difference between primitive and reference types. In memory, it would look something like this. Primitive type int. Int a stores the value 5. The same applies to float and another primitive types. 5 is directly stored in variable a. In reference types, variable s doesn't store the actual data itself, but rather the address or reference to the memory location it points to. Think of it like a web link. It holds the address to a whole website. Similarly, a variable holds an address, enabling clean data access. This design facilitates efficient data handling, which we will explore further when studying functions. And now let's take a closer look at this. I have made an example. Int a equals to 5 and int b equals to 8. And now let's imagine our memory as a wardrobe. Each shelf it has its number and address in memory. This is an address in memory. And now let's place our variable a on shelf 1, for example. So variable a holds the number 5. Then there is variable b. It can be stored on any shelf. Just like with objects, when we put things away, we don't always follow a perfect sequence. And now we say that b equals to a, and that this means that b equals to 5 too. So on this shelf, or in programming terms in the memory cell, we have placed the same 5, for example on the third shelf. And the memory cell is 002, for example. And what happens with reference types? I created a string, doctor name is equals to John. Then I assign it to another string, detective name. And let's imagine our memory as the same wardrobe. Let's say it's a memory cell with this address. What will be stored on this shelf? It will store an address. It's like if you place the TV remote on this shelf and put the TV itself in another place. To turn it on, you first need to pick up the remote, so the name John will be stored in a completely different place. So let's see how we can imagine. We have another place here. So the name John will be stored in this wardrobe. And both doctor name and detective name will have a reference to the memory cell where John is stored. So here we have a memory cell to this wardrobe or to this cell of memory. And now let's talk about action with string. I will tell you about concatenation. Reference types also contain various methods that can be called using the dot operator. However, we will discuss this later when we understand what methods are in general. And today we will focus only on concatenation. So I created a string value first name John, and now I'm creating a last name Watson, for example. One moment, please. John Watson. And let's create a full name. So what actually means concatenation? Concatenation means joining two or more strings together. You can concatenate strings using the plus operator or the concat method. But we will not speak about methods in this lesson, so let's see how it works with plus. So in this case, we will see the full name, for example, John space Watson. So let's see it in console. John Watson. This way you can concatenate different strings and display them in a text, for example. So that concludes our lesson. I hope that the video was helpful for you. So see you soon. Bye bye.